The process of aging, which is about grief and loss also, and how do we deal with it. But I would like to start by saying everything is a memory other than this moment. And this also goes too fast even before we try to capture it. And then that's also augmentation. So everything that we have grip on, grasp on, is only an augmentation. So all our fights and all our war and loss is only the memory of that. But we're talking of aging, and we're talking of loss. We're talking of loss of youth. We're talking of loss of love relations. We're talking of loss of, the process of aging. The first part is proper. We need that. It is essential. It is necessary. It is essential, right? That you build this career, you chase something, and you do this for 30 years of your life. But suddenly at some point in time, you pause. And then you're wondering, what am I doing? And how long will I do? And it's time we begin to recognize that there is a time to sow, and then there is a time to harvest, and that's the whole journey. To know that I will build this, and I will, but while building, to know that I'm going to watch it go. Loss is a part of human life. Acceptance comes from that freedom. Existential perspectives is a psychological portrait of life that is not the mask that you hold on to, or not the youth that you once had. We're talking of death of relations. I'm talking of death of my brain cells. I'm talking of death of a relationship, death of the flexibility of one part, death of a function of a bodily function, death of a particular intimacy in a particular relationship. And death doesn't come all of a sudden. Well, we might not die suddenly, but if we don't die suddenly, we'll all age and die. But death is there. And I think the topic today is not about prediction of death, but it's about preparation for death. Death shouldn't be looked from the point of view of prediction. I think I'll live for 80. No, it's not about prediction. It's about preparation. I'm preparing for death. This client who said, long days and sleepless nights. I can still hear her saying this. No one to wait for, no one coming to see. She was in a facility which she's taken care of, but everything, withdrawal from life. There was this one lady whom the institution called me, and she would sit there, do everything, but she would just sit by the window. She may just get up and walk. Complete withdrawal from life. A feeling of it's not working, and I want to end it, and it's pointless. And why am I having this conversation with you, I feel, is not maybe you're not the consumer of this directly. Some of you are not. Maybe you're at 20 sitting over here, 25 sitting over here, 30 sitting over here, and maybe you're not a consumer for this directly. Maybe you are, but maybe you are in direct relationship and touch with someone who is there at that point in their life where you matter a lot to them. So how do you prepare for death? And how do you age gracefully? Not fighting it. How do you prepare for death, and how do you age gracefully? How do you know that the sword that you got or the dragon that you slayed is all going to be left behind? Can you think of a relationship that is dead for you? A bodily function that is dead for you? A intimacy in relation that is dead for you? Where you didn't age gracefully, but it's dead and you're living with the dead body. And these are places we reconcile. These are places where we begin to bring life slowly to resuscitate that. Aging gracefully means letting go of the illusion that I am enough. But we begin to recognize this through small losses. Loss of a function of a bodily part, loss of a particular action that we once used to do in an intimate relationship, which we've not done in a long time, and maybe that's no more available to us. Maybe it's an identity. Maybe it's a part of the body which used to function, like a jumping. Like when I was 15, I could jump from a wall. Today, I can't even think of doing it. So we're dying in parts. We're not, unless we're dying all of a sudden, but we're dying in parts. And these parts needs to be grieved, celebrated, and also recognized that that's the true nature of life. Sometimes we're trying too hard to recreate the youth. We're trying too hard to do it all over again and to capture it again because there were yesteryears of glory. But the second part of life is about that directional change. That's an existential question, and we'll all encounter it at some point in time. What if you could look at yourself, and with your eyes closed, if you could look at yourself, and when you look at yourself, I want you to look at it from one perspective. Look how far you've come now. Three questions for this part of the reflection. First question, where are you not celebrating? कहाँ तुम जीवन को महाउत्सव नहीं बना रहे हो? Where are you not making it महाउत्सव? Because you're afraid it might go, it will die, they will cheat, they will go, this will be taken away from me, log kya kahenge? And my second question is, what are you holding, clinging, that you're not willing to let go, or you're afraid to die today? I like that line which says, if we don't die suddenly, we'll age, grow old, and die. The third question is this: your life today is meaningful because, and that because is the reason you want to die. You don't want to die. Yeah. So it's a moment of gratitude, but also it should be letting go of that compulsion that the other person has to make it beautiful for you. It's to really look in their eyes and say, hey, hey, you don't have to make it. It's okay if it's not. I love you just the way you are. Be grateful that they chose to spend the little time that they had with you. But don't forget to dance like a dervish. 4 दिन की जिंदगी है, महोत्सव बनाना है.